Okay, so after a lot of thought and consideration, I decided to stray away from motorcycle safety into another more current issue that needs to be resolved. Today, I'm going to be talking about rideshare safety policies that need to be enforced. So, I'm going to cover three different topics. One, making sure people are getting into their actual Ubers or Lyfts. Two, rideshare drivers making sure they're not talking or texting. And three, enforcing cameras in every single ride. So, as South Carolina students, you guys probably know that a tragedy happened a couple weeks ago. Sammy Josephson was kidnapped and murdered by a person who was pretending to be her Uber driver. This could have happened to any of us, and things need to change. QR codes needs to be enforced to match the driver to the passenger. I was lucky enough to have known Sammy, and I feel like we need to spread awareness of what happened to prevent other incidents and to make a policy to, one, have license plates on the front of all the cars, and two, have QR codes that let you scan the app to confirm a match. It could be as easy as putting a QR code on the window and having the app, you just go up and scan it before you get into the car. So, state specific ride sharing legislation is in early stages, but it's growing. Recently, there has been the What's My Name campaign to stop, ask, match, inform, but I believe that more needs to be done. According to the South Carolina General Assembly, as of April 2nd, the Samantha Josephson Safety Act passed in the South Carolina House, and it forces all vehicles for rideshare service to have illuminated signs while the driver is on duty and working. This makes the sign must be visible from 50 feet away during daylight hours and easily readable at night. And this allows for the sign to be magnetic or removable. So the law passed overwhelmingly after being fast tracked, and following this introduction, it's now headed to the Senate. So I believe that this needs to reach all states because of the severity of this issue. So secondly, yesterday I was actually in DC for an interview in an Uber, and the DC traffic's very bad. So I thought my Uber driver would be very cautious, but instead he was on his phone texting while driving, which made me feel unsafe because my life was actually in his hands. He was driving me. And so, according to the Uber legal community guidelines, safety is first. That means keeping to the speed limit, not texting while driving, always using a phone mount, and never driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. But my Uber was not using a mount, and he was texting while driving. So that needs to be changed. Talking on a handheld cell phone is banned in 18 states and DC. The use of all cell phones by new drivers is restricted in 38 states and DC. Text messaging is banned for all drivers in 48 states and District of Columbia. Montana does not ban text messaging, and only new drivers are banned from texting in Missouri. So right now, you get a ticket if you text, but I think that Uber drivers and Lyft drivers should be held more accountable for texting and driving, and that there should be a policy that if they are caught texting and driving, that they have to take some type of safety course, as well as get a fine and might even be removed from the ride sharing career. So, and then lastly, I think that there needs to be cameras in every single Uber for the safety of not only the Uber driver, but the Uber passenger. Last year, CNN reported that at least 103 Uber drivers in the US had been accused of sexually assaulting their passengers over a period of 4 years. At least 31 drivers have been convicted for crimes ranging from forcible touching and false imprisonment to rape, and dozens of criminal and civil cases are pending. A 2016 lawsuit revealed that Uber used HireEase and Checkr for background checks. This is a easy, quick way to do a background check, but these failed to catch 25 drivers with criminal backgrounds because the screening process didn't include the entire database. So I think there needs to be an in-depth background check policy for all Uber drivers before anyone can step foot in the car and pick up other people. So I chose to bring up this policy because after the tragic event, I fear riding in an Uber alone, but it's not practical to not ever ride an Uber alone. So I think that these three policies would help it make everyone feel safer. So thank you for taking time to listen. Okay. You guys want to ask questions?
Yeah.
That was
Um, I want to ask, when do you think the QR code policies you discussed could be implemented?
So, I mean, I'm no app creator, but I know it's super easy to get a QR code. Like you can, for Snapchat example, you can use a QR code to scan in another friend. So I think if Uber just had like a QR code come up every single time when someone's going to pick up, and if there's like a car Uber, they could just go up to the window and scan it just to confirm not only like your name and license plate, that it's
Mhm.
actually like scanned in, like you're in the Uber kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think all these new policies for Uber will be applied to Lyft as well?
I think Uber is definitely going to be the ones mainly in charge, just because they are like the leader in the rideshare industry right now. I'm like, oh, let me just call an Uber even if I do get in the Lyft. So I think that Lyft will definitely follow in Uber's footsteps, but they're both really trying to increase the safety.
Do you think that Uber should have an option in the app, like when you're finished riding with somebody, to like report any kind of things that violated, like your driver obviously texting and driving, not having the phone mount? Do you think that like a reporting feature would be more useful?
Yeah,
than
I
what there is
definitely think so. Right now, there is a part of that app that you can report. It just takes a while to like go to it. It's like kind of hard to find. But I think if you could easily just be like, my Uber was texting, my Uber was talking on the phone the entire time, or just like just a button that would make it so much easier to report it. I think that would be really beneficial. And if I could like, I mean, I took a picture of my Uber driver texting yesterday because it was annoying me, and I was gonna try to report him to get him in trouble because I was like, oh, crashed. But I think that'd be super helpful. You guys have any other questions?
Yeah, I got one more.
Okay.
Are there any qualifications to becoming an Uber driver? And like, when do you think they'll expand their background checks?
So I'm not completely sure of all the qualifications. I know they do the background check with the ease and the checker. And then you do have to have a valid license. And I believe your car has to be over 2008 to qualify. But besides that, anyone can sign up. I've by accidentally, when signing up for Uber, tried to, and you have to be 21. That's one thing.
Okay.
But I think it's pretty easy for anyone to become an Uber driver, which is pretty concerning because we get in there like, I know I hop in an Uber all the time just to go around. So I think they definitely need to look into it more. And I think they're going to start doing more in-depth background checks to make sure that they're reliable.
Gotcha.
Well, thank you for listening. Does anyone else have any questions?
We're good. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice job.
Good job.
Good job.